Hey, it's Dr. Fred, and I have a great guest, Damian Tenuta. I want to thanks, Damian. You were at the past couple of boot camps, man. You heard about us because you've dealt with you create videos for social media and for marketing, and you came to me, found out through me because you really specialize with corrective care docs. So I remember when I talked to you over the phone, it's like, oh man, this is perfect. Like we fit together so well. And then you went to the December and January Salt Lake boot camps. And I remember joking around like you were taking more notes than the doctors. So I wanted to get together because you're going to be at the Atlanta boot camps. You're now becoming part of our culture, which plus you're Italian, so that was almost automatic. But then when I find out your passions and values and how we align, it's great to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dr. Fred. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, just to follow up on that, we kind of first connected because we were working with chiropractors, and I guess I started working with chiropractors, and I grew up going to one. And that's kind of how I got into the field, or at least helping out chiropractors. And then as we were working with corrective care clinics, your name just kept coming up. So I decided, it like we got to reach out, see
Plus, it
what's
was
up.
D
And then
Domenico, right? So you figure,
yeah,
well,
and yeah, we
we
heard
got to
the
at least have
Italian
lunch.
in there. Yeah, everyone on our team is Italian. Not, I guess not everyone, but the core team is Italian.
The
So
important
it's
people.
the important people. Yeah. So yeah, glad we could connect, and I think it's been really great so far, and I've learned a ton. Like you said, I've been taking notes, not just about chiropractic, but the whole mindset, and leadership, and changing beliefs, and the whole thing. So
Absolutely.
I've learned a lot already from you.
Yeah, so like always, before we started recording, we said, hey, Elite is very relationship based, and people really want to know who you are and why you do it. So if we can just get into your story a little bit, how you end up where you are today, what's your purpose, what's your vision, and then how you see yourself and us working together really being a massive benefit for Elite clients.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like I mentioned before, I grew up going to a chiropractor. And I'll be honest, I didn't really understand it. My parents never explained it to me. The chiropractor that I went to never really explained it, or if he did, it just went over my head. But I did have, going to Elite had this unlock of like, hey, looking back, I didn't really have like any major like sickness or anything when I was growing up, right? And tying that back in and realizing that it was this preventative, almost healthcare, right? It's healthcare instead of sick care. And that really going to a chiropractor entailed, right? So that's kind of how I first was introduced to chiropractic, and then started working with my family chiropractor to get him more patients into his practice, or more practice members.
When you
And
say
uh,
working with them, how did you work with them?
yeah, so to be honest, when we started, and this will kind of get into how we came up with this video process, we were just doing what everyone else was doing. So when I say that, it's the Groupon discounts. And I'm sure everyone's seen these Groupon offers, $29 chiropractic adjustment. It's like an image, and it doesn't really show why you're unique, and it kind of devalues almost what you have to offer, right? Because it's just, hey, let me get a quick crack and I'll be done with it. And as we all know, that's not what chiropractic is. But that's what we were doing for them. And we got patients in the door, but they weren't really qualified, or that they didn't really understand what chiropractic was all about, right? And they were coming
Well,
in.
and I think a lot of people learn that. One, I was talking to a client today, right? Groupon used to do a free massage, and then you try and sell them chiropractic, which I never like that. I'm not judging anybody, but there's got to be
Right,
consistency. And then you find out the $29 deal, you just get shoppers. Like what it should have been is, hey, it's 997 bucks for the first visit. People would probably go, that's amazing. It must be life changing. I think I'll just pay $1,000. Like then you learn
right,
29 bucks isn't the way to go, man. You just get cheap
right.
people.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's what that's what we found. Like, and that is kind of where our shift came. Like, I had this moment, like probably 3 years ago at this point, where we had around 50 clients that we were working with, and in one day, like 4 or 5 people called me and they all said the same thing, like what you were saying, which is people were coming in and they were just coming for a deal, which it makes sense, but like I didn't know anything different. So that kind of like set us out on this journey of trying to figure out how can we solve this problem of like
Adding
explaining and
value.
showing what chiropractic is. Yeah, add value, tell the story, actually do marketing as opposed to just discounting offers. Like there's, I remember seeing somewhere like some marketer advertising guy said, any schmuck can just put up like a discounted offer and get deals, right? It's actually marketing is changing beliefs and adding and like showing the value, right? So that's kind of what set us down that journey is really, quite frankly, to just try to serve chiropractors because like we weren't able to and we had like 5 people cancel on the same day and I was scared about out of my mind when that happened
Yeah.
because
Well, you set out, like I said, you set out on a journey that really shows where your heart is, right? Didn't you go cross country and
yeah, yeah. So once that happened, then we got in this green RV, my brother and I, and we decided like, okay, let's figure out what's going on. Let's actually visit our clients, the ones that we had left, and we left from Florida and went up the coast, across to Texas, um, all the way to LA, up the coast to SF, and then back. And we were the whole time visiting clients and trying to figure out what was it that was different between the people that like were getting results, that were coming in, the people were coming in and they recognized what was different about their practice, and those that were just coming in for a quick crack, a discount, things like that, right? And we figured that we saw there was one doc, Dr. Dirk Willard in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who was actually getting a lot of patients into his practice because of the video that he made, right? And there's two things different about the video. Um, and it was really one, he was in the video himself, but that's not really anything new. There are people doing videos, but two was he explained and told the story of exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it. So
exactly.
once that like it just clicks for people, right? When people see that, it's changing beliefs. And then people come in and they're like, hey, I want exactly what that is. And then over time we slowly iterated through and created this video system to actually change beliefs and get people in who is like, okay, I want that because I know I understand what makes it unique and different and how it can actually like help me not just get out of pain, but live a lifestyle.
So what made you gravitate towards spinal correction? So you did your little tour, you found all this out, but then you really gravitated towards spinal corrective docs, CBP type docs.
Right. Yeah.
So what
And
was that epiphany?
so I think there was really two things. First, you kind of mentioned that there's no mistakes, right? So part of it, I don't think I can explain it because um I also believe that there's not any mistakes. And when it comes across your table or your desk, like or in front of you, you can recognize it or you can just let it pass. And like that recognition of like seeing, okay, this is something, like there's something here. It's this is changing lives. Like something about it, like it clicked for me. So
It's
when we were
actually
able to,
chiropractic.
it's right, chiropractic in general, right? But also just the corrective care aspect of changing posture. There's also this aspect of um, you know, like showing what's unique and different, and corrective care, you can really show that with the video as well.
Yeah.
So that those two aspects of being able to show it in a video and telling a story, and then the actual, you know, results in terms of long-term results for patients. Those two things combined, it really made
Well,
sense.
plus optimal spine, optimal health, man. I mean, it's the message chiropractors have been preaching. They just forget, a lot of chiropractors don't, they understand optimal spine, optimal health, but then they don't fix the spine. So where did optimal spine of that equation come from? Where'd it go?
Right.
It's not in there anymore. in the
Right.
majority of the profession, right?
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, so then you found these clients, you started making the videos specific for spinal correction, and then what did you notice?
Yeah, like, well, first it's the people that were coming in were saying, I've been looking to like for something like this. Like they could have had like scoliosis, or they could have simply been like suffering like mentally, or looking to just get back on the soccer field, right? But however they like whatever problem they were experiencing, they knew that they weren't really living wholly. And when they come in, they're like, yeah, I've been looking for someone to help improve my posture. And like they knew that like this was the place for them, right? So it's the people that, you know, they can see the video, they watch through, and they see the story that's involved in this video, and then they come in and they're like, this is for me, right? And they're almost, we hear from docs too, they're almost like, they're not quite cold people, cold leads that you typically get with social media, because they come in knowing what to expect and knowing
Yeah.
why we're doing everything, right?
Well, and here's what's so powerful about this is, there's people out there, well, I've been to chiropractors, la 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 la, and well, and you hear the objection, once you go, you always have to go, and I only go when I have back pain. But people innately know that if it keeps coming back, something is missing. They also know that an adjustment works better than anything else. That's why they keep going back, even if it's pain care. But innately, they know something's not being fixed. So your videos, and when you show corrective care and you talk about x-rays, you talk about correcting curves, you show the way you do it, these people that go, I knew this is what I've been innately, they may not come in and say the word innate,
Hmm.
but their intuition is telling them there's something else. There's something else. All you have to do is show them what it is, and
Right.
people, it automatically resonates with these people.
Right, right. And it's, we get a lot of patients, like we help the doctors too, and we work with them and how their patients kind of interact before they come into the practice. So we kind of get a sense of what these patients are saying as well. It helps us create videos. And we actually do get a lot of patients too who have been to chiropractic before, but for whatever reason it hasn't worked for them as well as they know it could innately, right? So they
First,
see
take
the
the
different things.
x-rays.
Right, right. And
Step one, take x-rays.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing too, is a lot of people, they come in and they don't want x-rays, right? But when you show that in the video and in your marketing, and you explain why we're doing it, like people come in and they know, okay, I'm here and it's I'm gonna get x-rays because that was shown in the video. Imagine
I know.
that.
Can you imagine? Rather than, oh, I don't want the x-rays, patients coming in, doc, am I going to get x-rayed today? Because I saw in
Right,
the video, that's how you figure out how to fix me, doc. I want it fixed. Are you going to x-ray me today? No. Imagine that. Like the whole
right,
other side of the polarity of the pole, right?
right. Because they understand why, right? And that's kind of what I wanted to also touch base. You mentioned, so you work with, you kind of utilize like Tony Robbins concepts, right? Of
Study NLP, study how Tony Robbins
NLP.
takes people to breakthrough. Yeah. I mean, I studied
Right,
all kinds of other things too. But
right,
yeah, I
right.
definitely spent years studying that.
And I'm sure a lot of that like is result, like it's around language and belief, right?
Oh,
And
you're
how,
changing people's belief systems. Yeah.
right, and
Yeah, that's
what's
how
the
he gets them
mechanism of
across the
that?
fire, right? You're changing their
Right.
emotional state.
Yeah, and that's, it's the same thing with video. It's maybe less powerful than in a Tony Robbins live seminar where you're walking across fire. But there's a reason that Tony has also moved to online seminars too, right? Like there is still power in
Oh,
content.
absolutely.
Like it's not just an in-person thing.
Well, yeah, and obviously your videos say, okay, I want to go there. Like your videos to get them in your clinic. And then it's
Yeah.
the teams and the doctor's job to give them the experience to understand at the end of day one, this is a healthcare lifestyle for you and your family.
Right.
That's what we do. You bring them in, I'll show them how to get it under it. This becomes the primary health care for them and their family on day one.
On day one. And creating leaders, chiropractic leaders, right? Who are bringing in
Absolutely.
other patients as well.
Yeah. So you do these videos now. Before we got on here, you said you wanted to talk. I don't know if that was talking about the videos, if there was
Yeah.
something you wanted to show, or
Yeah, definitely. So we talked about like kind of why videos, and I did want to kind of break down the how, like how to actually do it. So there's three parts that since we started, we saw Dr. Willard, he was in the video and he told this story, right? Since then, we've been iterating week after week. We've spent $2.5 million on chiropractic ads, gotten it on like 132 million screens, so impressions. And that whole time we're looking like, what is it that's like we're continuing to test and figure out what's that framework that's working. And we came up with it's called the C3 method. So that stands for capture, captivate, and then convert. And in each of those phases is meant for a like different thing, right? Capture is to grab their attention. We're in an ADD world out there. People are scrolling through their phones. They're in line at the grocery store. They're at kids' soccer practice. What's that thing that's going to get them to stop and
I just
see
want
like,
to
okay,
say, finally, the
yeah,
world has caught up to us, man. We're in an ADD world now. We're finally understood. We're fine.
yeah,
People finally understand us now. Thank you very much. Just figured I'd throw that in there.
yeah. Now everyone's ADD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Now we don't stand out. Now we can relate
right.
to other people. They relate to us now.
Right, right. Now the weirdos are the ones that are actually focused.
Yeah, man. We
Uh,
were isolated way back in the 70s when I was in high school. Like, what's
yeah,
your problem?
that's funny. Um, yeah, so you have to be able to capture them, right? And that's uh, the biggest thing, the biggest principle here is it's called incongruity theory, right? So our minds, always on the lookout for things that are like out of the norm in our environment. It's just it goes back to the caveman days. You always had to be on the lookout for things that were like out of the ordinary because that could mean a predator. It could mean like danger, right?
Gets her
That
attention.
same mechanism is we still have that. So what is it that's going to get someone to stop and be basically curious, right? And with corrective care, that's really it could be the traction, it could be um, the exercises, but the biggest thing you want to focus on is getting that curiosity going, right? So making it something unique, something they haven't seen and very obvious on the screen. So that's step one is the capture phase to get them to stop. And without that, like that's 80% of the battle is to get them
Oh yeah,
to stop scrolling. Once you
absolutely.
have that, yeah, once you have that, then you have the captivate. So you're telling a story, and that's how we change beliefs. It's all through story, right? So something I hear a lot from doctors is like, oh, no one's looking for corrective care. Like people don't even know what that is. But I'll tell you, that might be true, but they are looking for a permanent solution to this discomfort or just looking to live healthier, right? So they might not be looking for corrective care, but if you can position corrective care as the solution to their problems,
As
that's where
healthcare,
they're looking as right,
that's what they want. They
right,
want a better healthcare, especially now more than ever. They just don't know how you do it because you haven't friggin' figured out how to message it. And that's what you're doing.
right. So obviously, like no one's looking for corrective care, right? They're not just like unless they know what it is. But if you don't know what corrective care is, you're not going to be
It's not
searching
on
for
their
corrective
radar.
care, right? But once you have their attention, then you tell them and you show them how this thing called corrective care, called Pettibon, called CVP, whatever technique you use, is the solution to their health
About life.
and a better life, right? So you do that through story. You explain the mechanism of, okay, this traction, this is actually going to change the shape of the spine. It's going to help you improve your posture. These exercises are going to help strengthen the muscles supporting the spine so that you can actually like hold it up and keep that posture like strong. And so that the signals from the brain can go down to the rest of your organs so you can just live a better life, right? A healthier life. So that is how like you show them that and they're like, wow, you get it. And a lot of these principles are from what you teach in Elite, right? With the day 1 and day 2 and the pre-consult and things like that. It's a very similar concept.
Absolutely. Third phase?
Yep. Third is get them to come into your practice. So once they
Call to
understand,
action.
it's the call to action. Yep. Convert. Call to action. They know like x-rays are the first step. So that's a great call to action. Come in, get some x-rays, get a posture screen. And then once they're into your practice, then you can actually move them
Then get
into
your
the
day 1,
chiropractic
day 2
lifestyle.
down.
Right. Then it's time for day 1, day 2.
Yeah.
Then it's retention
Yeah,
lifestyle.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, certainly with the clients that have used you, I mean, we recently started working together. However, the clients that immediately signed up with you, and some had already been using you, have given accolades about, one, how much you care, two, how much you really want to get the patients that they want to get, the interview process that you take the doctors through, and how much it's their message is personalized to that office. It's not like we have corrective care and here's the box that we got to put you in. No, and this is what I say about Elite. You know, a lot of management groups put you in a box, but what we're going to do is we're going to create Damian's box, and I'm going to create this person's over here's box, and that's what you do that people really appreciate. Is, you know, if I was your client, which probably need to do that, then there's probably some great Elite videos that I need to talk to you about. You know, you're creating the Fred Elite box. You're creating the Elite coaching box. That's very different from a CJ Merch box, a TRP box, you know, and practices are the same way. And so that's, you know, I get a lot of appreciation that you get that person's message, not just the technique, but that person's message out there. And then they attract the people they want to attract. And there's not a lot of, I mean, I've talked to a bunch of video marketing. I mean, we get approached by them all the time. Hey, there's a few great ones, but that's the one thing that I notice that has come out about you is
Well, I
your
appreciate that.
personal
That's yeah.
care for the people that you work with. And that's relationship based. And that's what,
Yep.
you know, that's what we do in Elite. So now you're going to be in Atlanta. You're going to be there in June, and you'll get up and say, you know, for a few minutes and let them know who you are. And you'll be there in August again. You've already committed to being part of our culture, and I'm honored for that. So you also wanted to make an offer, give them something
Yeah,
that he already told me it was like, wow, that's generous. So hopefully
totally.
let them know what that is.
Yeah, so like as we've been working with these docs, we've come up with the process to get one of these videos created using the see-through method. They put it up on their website. You can use it in social media, but we just want to get this in front of, you know, as many people in the country and have docs using it so they're not devaluing their services. So we're going to, if you follow, or there might be a link around this video, or follow Get Contente or Damian Tenuta on Instagram, message me and we'll get you set up
How you
with
spell your
a,
last name? Because you just spit
yeah,
out that Italian
yeah,
multi-syllable name.
Tenuta.
Yeah, exactly. How you spell that?
Yeah, it's Ten, like the number 10 and then UTA. And then Get
Tenuta.
Contente.
Damian.
Yes, Damian, yes.
Damian. Damian.
IAN. Yep,
Yeah, Tenuta.
Tenuta.
Nice.
Message me, tell me you came from Dr. Fred, you saw me in Dr. Fred's video, and we'll get you set up with a videographer to come out and film a video, and then we'll package it all up, edit it for you at cost. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to get this video out first of all, but it's like we think that we also have a good system for managing the ads and the paid traffic side of things. So a certain percentage of the people that come and actually do this video, they're going to work with us as well, and we can actually reach
Cool.
more people in the community to that way. So
Awesome.
yeah, message me and look forward to talking.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with me, man. Thanks for letting them know. Look forward to seeing you in the boot camp in June. And I literally do need to call you about maybe we can make some videos for Elite.
Definitely. Yeah, I would love to. Thanks,
All
Dr.
right,
Fred.
cool. See you guys
Cheers.
soon.